All right, I think majority of the people are here. First off, what is up, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another live stream on Bitcoin and altcoins. I'm going to be starting off with Bitcoin, and then if you take a look at the right side of my screen, you can see all of the altcoins that I have prepared for this stream, including Solana, Dogecoin, Bonk, XRP, and all the goodies. I think a lot of them are looking good or are starting to look good in terms of potential upside. So we're going to be going over, breaking them down, and at the end of the stream, we're going to be covering the trade setups per altcoins as well. So, you know, as always, if you have questions, do let me know in the chat, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. The stream is sponsored by Bybit. If you do want to support me, you can, sign up using the link below, and there's additional perks to that as well. So without further ado, let's start off with Bitcoin. And I think the main point of interest here on Bitcoin is the developing 2-week composite that we are trading within. So I've made an indicator here, right? We've got a merged VWAP indicator that we can put on the chart. If we're taking a look at the previous 2 weeks of value, we haven't really been moving at all, right? We saw this initial impulse move higher. From that point on, we slightly front run 100K. And at that point, we were just bracketing in between value here, right? We didn't really get follow through towards the downside, mainly because the developing quarterly value high is capping downside here, right? It's higher time frame support. And on the upside, we've got the developing weekly value area high. And of course, there's a shit ton of liquidity resting around 100K. So I do believe that if we finally break through 100K, it's going to be, not a slow grind higher. I think that's going to be a cascade, right? We're going to be seeing a big move upwards. But until that happens, right, we're just rotational within the 2-week composite. And that 2-week composite is basically the last 2 weeks of overlapping value all merged together. And that gives us a 2-week composite value high around 98.3K. It gives us a 2-week composite value low around 92.9K. Another thing that we have is the monthly open. So one could argue that we have new monthly value. And let me just show you guys here on the VWAP chart. So if I open up this chart, and we're going to be focusing on the bottom right chart, right? So let's zoom in a bit right here to get a better view on what we can expect going forward. This band right here was the monthly developing value area high. That's what we got right there. This is monthly VWAP, and this was monthly value area low. Today is December 1st, which means that we have a new monthly value, a new previous monthly value to work with going into December. Now, whether we're going to go up or down, it doesn't really matter for us, because if we take a look at this range, guys, I mean, value area high comes in around 97 point what, right? 97.2K. And then we've got previous month VWAP, which is all the way down at 86.6. So that's almost a 10K range, right? Between value area high and the VWAP here. So what I'm mainly going to be focusing on heading into December is Bitcoin able to hold that previous month value high as support, right? I want to see Bitcoin hold this level as support, because if it does not hold a support, the next likely destination is going to be the quarterly developing value high. And if this does not hold a support, well, then we're definitely going to go towards that previous month VWAP, right? Now, if we're going to be taking a look at the previous chart again, right, to keep it simple, it basically means that short term, we are rotational within a 2-week composite. That means this is resistance, right? We can see right there, Bitcoin is unable to accept above this 2-week composite value area high. This is support. Bitcoin is unable to truly accept below that 2-week composite value area low. That means if we're auctioning towards the value area high and we fail to break through, we can look for shorts back towards previous month value area high. If we accept below previous month value area high, retest it, and we fail to hold this as support again, we can look for an auction lower towards the next area of interest, which is going to be the 2-week composite value low confluent with the developing quarterly value high, right? If we're taking a look at this auction here, let's go towards an hourly chart. We have a typical tree drive structure where this is the initial drive lower, the first one. Then we had the second one here, and then we had the third and final one. Now, this is that tree drive structure, right? We swept the previous low. Then we saw a break above prior high, acceptance back within that weekly composite, right? Then we go towards that monthly developing value high, and we went towards that developing value high on the 2-week. So pretty clean rotations last week. And I think this is going to be the team. One thing that I do want to mention here, guys, is that once Bitcoin finally auctions above the 2-week value area high here and it establishes value up here, try to break back below that previous week value right there, right? But reclaims it as support. This is going to be a long, and we're going to be going towards this high and potentially much higher, right? So you don't really want to be fading that first genuine breakaway from value. The same goes obviously for when we're accepting below a 2-week composite value low. Yes, we're coming into the developing quarterly value area high there, but if we try to break back within and then we reject, then that's going to be an obvious short to me towards, you know, that previous month VWAP around 86k. All right. So that's the main thing for me. If I'm going to be taking a brief look here on Bitcoin on the H4, I even argue that, you know, I would love to see right now, purely based on structure, if Bitcoin is going to be bullish, we have an H4 down close candle here. We swept this low into previous month value high. If there's going to be a bullish month, right, obviously we would like to see a deviation below the monthly open early on in the month, because that will be a typical power of three, right? If we have monthly open, we auction lower, we form the wick, right? Let's say that we do this, we take out this low into the gap, into this bullish breaker here on the H4, then we reclaim monthly open again, we start trading up here, and then I think at that point we are going for the expansion higher, right? That monthly expansion. That's basically the power of three in a nutshell. So on the H4, whilst we are trading still within that 2-week composite, I mean, short term, I'm going to be looking for potential longs here, right? At that H4 down close candle, confluent with monthly open for a reversion back towards the 2-week value high. That's a trade for me. Acceptance above, even better. I'll be looking for longs towards new highs. However, if Bitcoin fails to hold us as support, I'll be looking for longs, ideally around the 2-week composite value area low, right there, right? Roughly within this bullish breaker. You could even fine tune it towards this up close candle, right? Before we took out that low here, broke through. So I think if we were to retest this, maybe form a double low here at that developing quarterly value high, that would be a really good long opportunity for that move towards this high here. Now, obviously confirmation would be above previous month value high here, which is confluent with the monthly open, but that's the main plays. Those are the main plays that I'm mainly looking at for Bitcoin. Is that clear? What's the VWAP indicator name on TradingView? I'm using, what are you referring to? Like the merge VWAP or the ones that I'm using for the bands right here? I'm using my own suite, but you can use, I believe, like the basic VWAP indicator on TradingView with standard deviation 1. It will have slightly different values because I'm using an aggregation between Coinbase and Binance, but it should work perfectly fine. Let me know in the chat, guys. Is that clear on Bitcoin? So heading into next week, the main areas of interest are going to be the 2-week value area high and the 2-week value area low. If Bitcoin genuinely breaks above the 2-week value area high, I do not think we're going to be stopping at a sweep of this high. I think we're going to be breaking, you know, way higher than that. If we try to break above, let's say that in an event where we do sweep the high here, and then we accept back within the 2-week composite, what does that tell us? It tells us that we have a failed auction above a previous high, failed auction above the all-time high. When this occurs, I'm going to be looking for shorts for that rotation all the way down towards developing quarterly value high and potentially a second leg lower towards previous month VWAP, right? That's the main play. The other play for longs would be sweep, fill in the gap here, bullish breaker, confluent with 2-week value low, confluent with the developing quarterly value high. We're looking for longs, and then we're going to be going towards, you know, these highs. And I think that's the main play on Bitcoin. Now, moving towards Ethereum, I have absolutely no reason to be bearish against Ethereum. You know, if we're taking a look on Ethereum purely based on where it's trading relative to VWAP, we've got the developing year value area high around 35.15, which is why I said on Twitter, you know, as long as Ethereum is trading above 35.15, you know, it's probably going to go towards all-time high, and there's no real stopping it, right? So what I would like to do here is, you know, the moment Ethereum accepted back above previous month VWAP here, It went on for a rally towards the next area of interest, which is the previous month value area high, right? This is basically, if I were to draw this as a short-term range, right? This is the distribution. The value area high, and then VWAP right there, right? Oops, can't draw these lines straight, but you know, we auction above, we go straight towards that previous month value area high. Now that we're trading above, it is imbalanced upwards. You know, no reason to be bearish here. The long setup that I'm interested in Ethereum is, let's have a look at the H12. We've got a nice, and I'm not sure if we're getting it, but you know, we've got a H12 here. Let's just make sure that we've marked it out. H12 order block. So we've got an H12 order block, which is confluent with the previous month value high and the developing year value high. And I honestly believe that if we're going to be seeing upside on Ethereum and you want to be looking for a swing trade, this is the area that you want to be looking for potential longs, right? We can see the previous interactions. It has been really important in the previous consolidation. Should we revisit this area, sweep a low into key contextual level, which is a yearly value area high and a previous month value area high, I mean, this is a no-brainer long for me, and I'm going to be targeting all-time high here, all right? That's the main play. Conversely, for some reason, let's say that Ethereum starts to nosedive here, and we get a close below this previous low. We start auctioning back within this previous range right here, right? To me, that's a sign that we're having a failed auction above a yearly pivot, and that's bearish because, you know, if we're going to be trading this as TPO, let's say that this is a TPO chart. For those of you who are trading TPO, right? If we have a failed auction, let's say that this is previous day value and the market opens up with imbalance, right? At that point, we know this is resistance, this is support. However, if we can accept above previous day value high, the area where we went from a rotational environment towards an imbalanced up market is the location where we want to be looking for longs, right? If that fails to hold a support, this becomes a failed auction above value area high. And one of the laws of market dynamics states that we're likely to revisit point of control next and potentially the value area low. Keep this in mind. Let's move back towards that Bonk chart. Right here, right? Remember what I said? This value area low is somewhere around here. I think this right here is that distribution, for example, right there. And then we've got a point of control. So to me, if Ethereum is bullish, this H12 order block needs to hold around 3,400. If it does not hold a support, and let's say that we auction back within that previously established value on the monthly, we can look for shorts. And I think the next likely destination will be point of control and a sweep below the lows into a monthly value area low. Is that clear? Yeah, I think, you know, Ethereum has no reason to revisit the lows. If it's going to be bullish, I mean, listen, guys, a break above developing year value, that's significant. And that's not something that you want to be fading, in my opinion. Now, considering the equal lows here, it's a pretty shitty low. And, you know, and considering where Bitcoin is trading here, if we're getting a Bitcoin spike above 100K, and let's say that Ethereum Bitcoin takes a nosedive, we'll take a look at that later on. I think Ethereum will take that break towards that H12 order block where I'll be looking for longs for that potential next leg upwards, right? If we're taking a look here at the Ethereum against Bitcoin pair right there, we've got some nice levels to work with. First off, we're taking a look at the H12. We can see that where do we respond on, where do buyers step in here? It's the 2021 value area low, right? To the tick. We tag it, then we have a market structure break there, right? That's bullish. If we extend that throughout time, we retest it. It is confluent with the previous month VWAP. Retest it. Where do we go? We auction towards previous month value area high, right? And that's currently showing us that, you know, hey, this is relevant, right? It is a structural important level. We can see sellers are stepping in here. But to me, let's see how the daily looks like. Like the daily paints a pretty clear picture here. If we're taking a look at the 30-day rolling VWAP, it has been capping upside since, you know, the moment we accepted back below around July 5th on Friday. It has been resistance, right? Resistance, 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 resistance. And now we're forming good structure above the 30-day rolling VWAP. It is confluent with, you know, that market structure shift here. Daily down close candle before another leg upwards. If we're getting that cool down on Ethereum, I expect it to be capped around the 0.036 before that strength towards a previous quarterly value around 0.04. Hey, Janelle, hope you're well, man. So, overall, I think Bitcoin, if Bitcoin starts to rally towards 100K again, we'll likely get Ethereum stalling for a bit. Maybe we get some relief, right, back into that previous month VWAP. But all in all, if Ethereum gives me the ability to get long below this low into yearly support here, then that's a no-brainer long for me, right? I have no interest in shorting this because it's looking good. It's trading above all relevant timeframes, right? Including Bitcoin. I forgot about this, but if we are plotting the 7-day rolling VWAP, let's see how that, let's get rid of the drawings for a second. The moment Bitcoin auctions back above with conviction above a 7-day rolling VWAP, it is usually the trend for a while, right? Right now we're in consolidation mode, but considering, let's zoom in again. Considering that, initially we rejected there at the 7-day rolling VWAP, rejected twice, now we're breaking back above. If Bitcoin is going to be bullish, right, ideally you want to see this cluster holder support, right? So another key development here on Bitcoin. So that brings me towards Solana. Now, again, let's get rid of the rolling VWAP here. I think it is looking, it's not looking the best so far, right? Because if we were to draw a distribution here, and this is basically what I said with Bitcoin. Right here, we have the previous month value area high. We've got the previous month value area low, and we've got the previous month VWAP. So what Solana is basically doing here, it is auctioning between the extremes of previous month value, which gives us this range, right? The moment we accept back with a monthly value, where do we go? Point of control. The moment we accept above point of control, where do we go? Value area high. Simple as that. No need to overcomplicate it. Right now, we took our all-time high, which is for, I think it was here. Then we auctioned back within previous month value. And now we're kind of establishing value below that previous month value high. That's not necessarily something that I would like to see. It does not really tell us that buyers are really, showing conviction. They're showing strength, like it's outperforming. That's not the deal right here. But I do believe that it is forming a consolidation above a key contextual level, which is the developing quarterly value high, which in turn is also really important, right? Now, what I would like to see here on Solana is, if we're taking a look on the daily time frame, and even on the 2-day, for example, we've got a 2-day down close candle before we had a market structure shift. That 2-day down close candle is confluent with the previous month VWAP. For those of you who have watched my previous streams, know that I'm bullish against Solana from, I don't know, this low, or maybe even, I honestly don't know. I think it was down here when we broke back above that pivot. But I also said that I'm willing to look for longs when we revisit this area of interest here to me, right? Now, if I'm going to be fine-tuning that level towards a daily down close candle here, then we're going to be taking a look at the 4-hour again. And to me, we've got a daily order block around previous month VWAP, which is confluent with the developing quarterly value high. And we're now kind of forming a range here. So we do have a little bit of two-way trades here. But I think if we're getting the opportunity, and again, I'm talking with ifs because right now we are trading within a range. So I'm not going to be saying to you guys, we should sweep the low. We'll have two hypos here, right? The first hypo is that if we're going to be sweeping that low into developing quarterly value high, it does not necessarily have to trade all the way down towards previous month VWAP for me around 225. What I want to see is a sweep of that low, and I want to see a strong close back above that developing quarterly value high. To me, that's an indication that we're maintaining strength and trend on a quarterly perspective. And at that point, I'm going to be looking for longs there, and confirmation of my bias that we're going to be trending way higher on Solana is when it can finally trade back above 240, 245, for example, right? Nice round number, because that means that if I were to draw this again, right, we have monthly value. It tried to accept back with a monthly value. If this is bearish, we need to see this hold as resistance, right? This area right here. If not, it means that sellers are weak. Buyers are buying this, right? We've got nice one-time framing above that value area high. that's your bullish confirmation. So I'm going to be looking for longs here, and I'm going to be adding to it once we break above that previous month value high. And that's it for me. I have no reason here to be looking for shorts. Mainly because, you know, the short setup was on sweep of this high into that previous month value high, right? With a potential destination of this low. I didn't get that trade. I have no interest in trading in the middle of these two price points. All right. Moving towards Doge. Short term. We've got an H4 candle here, right? Into a weekly pivot. Now let me just show you that weekly pivot. Let's go towards the daily time frame. Let's go all the way down here. And let's show you, right? Do you guys see this? This high, right? It is extremely pivotal for Dogecoin. So I have it on my charts besides the VWAP levels. I think it's still relevant. And we can clearly see that if we go back towards that chart, it is still very important, right? So how do we go about trading this coin? Well, first off, we are trading above previous month value high, which on its own is bullish. Is it bullish enough for me to be getting long right here? Not really. What I would like to see is we've got a nice thick order block here. And that's confluent with the developing quarterly value high around 0.39 and something else. What I would like to see here is I want to see it roll over as the first trade into that block. And then it needs to show me that it can accept back above this low. If it can do that, I'm long, stop below the low, because that means to me, that tells me that it fails to break below previous month value high. It is coming into a key contextual level, the developing quarterly value high. That's bullish. Acceptance back above. I'm looking for longs. And you know, the true confirmation, of course, is going to be trading above this weekly pivot. But how everything is starting to shape up, I think, you know, there's a decent probability that if we're getting this, then that's the long trade that you want to take. The moment it tells you that, hey, you know, I'm strong enough, I could trade back above 0.41, that's your entry, that's your invalidation, and you know, you're going to be betting on that continuation of this range. All right. Moving towards Bonk. Now, same story, and you will see me like it's pretty simplistic here, where everything is basically trading either above previous month value high or below. But going into this month, like going into December, especially this early on in the month, those are the levels that you really want to be paying attention to, right? So this is how everything starts to come together. So we've got previous month VWAP, which is at 40.43 right here, right? And then around that previous month VWAP, we have now formed a range high and a range low. So far, we're not really able to accept back above these highs, right? Sellers are stepping in, and we're basically rotational between previous month VWAP, previous month value high. Based on where we are currently trading, would you think that this is a quality trade location, or do you think we should be waiting for, you know, either a move towards the lows or a move towards the highs? I'd go for the latter, right? I'd say if we're getting one final sweep into this low, into an H12 order block, and then closes back above the previous month VWAP, it's the long for me, and I'm going to be targeting the pending liquidity above these highs. If we're accepting back above previous month value high, time and space between a retest, reclaim it, it's a clear long as well. So these two price points are going to be very important. If we fail to hold support, well, shit. At that point, I think we're going to be going all the way back, maybe towards, you know, 26.20. So I think, you know, it genuinely needs to hold above 40.43, right? I'll take a look at some other coins as well. But right now, I think these are the outperforming ones. Litecoin is, what's Litecoin trading at right now? Moving towards XRP. It tagged all-time high. Really nice. It didn't tag it when I was prepping the chart. So let's have a look. H12. So what I would like to see here, and I think going forward, H12 order block, we've got a close within 5 hours. So if we're getting, let's extend these levels to match with the existing block right there, right? Right here, this is the example that I want to give you guys right here. This is an H12, an H12 order block right there. The moment we have a close, not a spike, but a close above that high, it becomes, you can already enter, right? Your invalidation should be below the low. And if it's bullish, this down close candle needs to hold a support, right? This order block. Because everybody that sold here, they now think, shit, we're trading above all-time high. I need to get back in, which is why they want to get back in as close as they can to the area where they sold. And that is why these down close candles, these bearish candles, become support the moment we get a H12 close through it. If we take a look at the interaction here, right? This candle, close above, retest it, right? We are not able to accept back below it, and then we get the expansion higher, right? So if you're looking for a trade on XRP, I'd say if we close up here, any pullback into that previous all-time high confluent with an H12 order block, that's a decent buying opportunity in my opinion, right? Because if this sweeps the high and then it closes below this H12 order block, that's going to be bearish, and that's probably going to be causing a move back towards Q3 value area high or this previous high, right? Yo, what's good, Aaron? Hope you're well, man. So I think that's the plan on XRP. Have a bit of patience. Wait until we can close this H12 candle within 5 hours. If it closes above all-time high, then this H12 down close candle is for buying. And the moment we lose it, well, that proves to me that we're wrong, right? And at that point, we're getting a rotation lower. Maybe filling this gap here into the previous range high. But so far, looking really well. Moving towards SHIB. Now, I'll be honest. This is not looking too hot right now, H4. What I would like to see, I have no real quality trade here to get into that trade, right? If we're taking a look at where we are trading. Right here, this was pretty clean to me. If let's go to an H4 chart, where this here is the developing year value area high, very important. Now that we're trading above, you basically want to see some sort of a range, and not an immediate retest. I don't like that, right? I don't like to trade it. I need to have like some sort of a time and space before a retest. Hey, Rafek, hope you're well, man. I'm doing good. So, you know, I want to see some sort of a range here. And then I want to see a retest, not the immediate butt kiss retest, right? Before continuation higher. Needs to show me a range. And when it does that, retest it, then I want to be a buyer for a move towards the Q1 2024 value area high there, right? But so far, the setup here isn't really playing out. It's not really telling me, it's not in my face that I'm like, damn, that's a good trade, right? For example, right here, when we are trading at the developing year VWAP, this is again the range, right? Not a monthly, but a yearly, where value area high, this is point of control. The yearly range is actually way bigger, but the moment we start to accept back within the upper half between VWAP and the value area high, this becomes your range. And when it's clearly telling you that, you know, time and space between the retest, what do we do here? We sweep this low. We form an H4 down close candle, extended throughout time. Every attempt back within this H4 OB, this is a buying opportunity, right? Accumulation around developing year VWAP. Where do we go? Developing year value high. Such a clean trade, right? Now, these are the trades that take time, but those are the ones that you want to be taking, right? But because it's based on a yearly value, it's based on structure, right? H4 order block, retest it, retest. This is just a typical crypto trade. Now, what I want to see here for SHIB is I need to see that 37.7 hold of support, because let's clean up this chart. If we don't hold above this line, what's that telling us? It's telling us that this is a pure liquidity grab above a previous high. If a developing year value high is not holding a support, well, shit, we're going to be going, you know, filling in this gap at least back towards previous structure. And then it tells us that, well, we're back to a rotational environment between VWAP and value area high, right? Is it clicking for you guys on how I'm breaking these down based on previous value, monthly, quarterly, yearly? You know, just have a bit of a laid back approach to see what we can trade with altcoins. With same story. Where's it trading at? It is trading at an H12 order block. What is it confluent with? It is confluent with developing year and the previous month VWAP around 3. We have a low. We sweep that low. We form an H4 OB here, right? So in my opinion, any pullback into that level, similar to SHIB, should hold a support for a move towards the highs. And confirmation that we're going to go towards the highs is obviously when we can trade back above previous month value high, sweep it, we get more long, right? Let's say that we build a position here, and then we have an invalidation below the H12 order block. We start to auction above previous month value high. We take something off, trill the invalidation here, maybe add something, whatever your preference is. But that's basically a quality trade in my opinion, right? So let's see how this plays out. You know, I think we need to hold this as support, because if we don't, we're likely filling in the gap towards previous high, maybe potentially much lower. But so far, I think the structure is looking pretty similar to, you know, SHIB here at this point. You guys see the fractal right here? We sweep that low, H4OB, at a key contextual level. Now we're taking a look at WIF again, right? We sweep this low, H4OB, at a key contextual level. We're getting the expansion, right? I want to see it like that towards the highs. These equal highs at least. Easy to make money, not so easy to keep it. Yeah, that's the point. I think, you know, but that's the thing with if you're spending too much time on Twitter, for example, you'll get lost in the sauce, because everybody's basically shilling you dog shit and telling that it's so easy to make money. While in fact, you know, they take like 100 attempts at a single trade, and you'll think that they're, you know, winning all the time. So you need to be careful with that. Let me catch up on the chat real quick. So TNR looking good, was good. Aaron. It's honestly too easy to make money with meme coins. Gonna get banned in the future. I think, you know, we already saw like France banning prediction markets, right? Because some guy made like, what was it, 20 million or maybe even more on the prediction that Trump would won the elections. So now they banned that prediction market in France. Yeah, I'm going to go towards that. Take it easy, brother. It's here. So moving towards the next one. Pepe. Do I pronounce that right? Pepe. I mean, obviously, and I've been telling, like, you know, some of the devs as well, like, if you want your coin to thrive, you're not going to be cutting it with a Uniswap alone, right? I mean, what are all these shit exchanges? What shit exchanges do we have? Like, I don't know, too much to name them, right? But in my honest opinion, if you want your shit to go up, you need to be on Binance, you need to be on Robinhood. Coinbase doesn't really matter anymore, in my opinion. It's pretty good, right? Don't get me wrong, but in my opinion, majority of the retail that is currently chasing shit like SHIB and Pepe and XRP, like XRP did like what, 70 billion in 2 days on top of its market cap. Like, they're here. Don't get me wrong, they're here. But you want your shit to be listed on Binance, and it needs to be on Robinhood, because if the combination of those two is just too powerful, I'm pretty sure if we're going to be seeing XRP topping out, that money will flow down towards the next one that is trending. And if it's not on the exchange, you're missing out on the gains, right? Hey Grant, hope you're well, man. So yeah, I think that's what we're currently seeing with Pepe here, right? It is doing really well. Huge amount of increase here. We had a nice range high, range low at the previous month VWAP. Look at the interaction here to the tick. And what do? We form an H12 order block. This is what I said with the XRP, right? I keep saying that wrong, but you get the drill. Down close candle. The moment we close above, this is your buying opportunity. Stop below the low, because if we're right, it should be going up from this point on. We're going to be taking a look at Chill Guy as well, Grant, because it's doing, I think it's doing pretty good. Right, so that was the long entry. Above developing quarterly value high, confluent with the H12 order block. Where do we go? Next area of established value, previous month value high. Now that we're trading above, if we're taking a look at the daily, a daily close like this would be bullish. And I think a move back within the block to fill in some of this inefficiency, confluent with previous month value high, that's going to be the trade that I'm interested in, right? Form some sort of a range here, spike it, reclaim it, and then we can look for higher prices again. What I do not want to see, I do not want to see a fill break above and a close back within that range, right? Because that to me is basically that, you know, we're stuck here for a bit longer. But the continuation play here is that this daily order block needs to hold a support for another leg upwards. All right, moving towards Chill Guy. So we did this on stream, Grant. Remember the H12 block that we're debating here? Let's get that level here, right? So in my opinion, if we're taking, let's get rid of all of this dog shit. 1 second. Let's draft this up. So one of the things that I like to do when trading altcoins is just focus on the simple things. And to me, let's mark out the right order block here, because this is the right one. You want to pick the lowest one before the move upwards. This is the lowest one. So that's the OB that we want to go with. Lowest H12 down close candle. We moved higher. What do we have here? We've got a fair value gap. Let me just draw this straight. Fair value gap between that high and this low, right? Inefficiency. The market has some reason to rebalance itself. Buyers are stepping in. Continuation higher. If chill, guys, going to be chill, right? If it's actually going to be going up, this is the hard time frame range that we're trading within. Let me just mark this out. And this low. Well, let's just keep this range high for just for the sake of it. This is the H12 candle, down close candle before we moved higher. We had, you know, an immediate rebalance here of that gap, but this candle moved upwards, and now we're basically consolidating here at this H12 down close candle. So in my opinion, if chill guys is going to go for another round higher, you want to see this whole support for another retest of that high, right? I'm not sure. There's probably going to be a specific market cap right here, maybe 500 mil or something along those lines. I'm not entirely sure how much it is right now, but considering, you know, how it's previously reacted at these levels, should we be going upwards, then this is definitely going to be an initial take profit area for me, if I were long, right? And then after that, we can target higher market caps. But right now, I just want to see this H12 order block hold the support, okay? Brings me towards Tao here. Tao, as always, I can't pronounce these altcoins, but you get the gist. Couple of interesting developments here. Let's move towards the H12. This is the range that we're trading within. Range high, range low, previous low, deviation below range low, right? This is that third tab here. Beautiful entry at what? Previous quarterly value area high, right? Can't make this shit up. Beautiful. We move higher. What do? Look at this. H12 down close candle. Support. I mean, it gets boring at this point, right? Support. You're not looking at H12 in the middle. We're looking at one at the previous quarterly value high. Retest it. Auction higher. What else do we have? Well, obviously, sellers are stepping in here. It's been resistance for quite some time. We do have all-time high here. So if we're getting a pullback, it's also confluent with the middle of this range. But if we're getting a pullback into that H12 order block, confluent with previous month value high in the developing quarterly value high, right? Let's say that we do this, spike it, get back above developing quarter, then this is a long invalidation below the low, and I'm going to be targeting all-time highs. Simple as that. Fed, right here. Let's have a look. First 2 day. The destination to me is pretty clear, where we're going to go towards the Q2 value high into this 2 day order block, right? This 2 day up close candle before we had a market structure shift below this low. That's the destination. Here's the tricky part. Where are we going to be getting into longs? Because I have no contextual level here whatsoever within this gap. I have none, right? The range is this high. The range is this high, right? Deviation, retest, then we auctioned lower, another retest, and now we finally broken through. So if I'm seeing stuff like this, I'm either like, you know, I need to either wait for a move back towards previous month value high, you know, and just sit on my hands, because I can't really validate a new long here because we're trading this high up, this close towards Q2 value high, which has been really important. So what I would tend to do here is, let's say that we close a daily like this, and then the next let's say that we form a range, and then we close a daily above this down close candle, right? Well, it's no, I don't really think that. No, scrap that. I'm not taking that. We're too close towards the Q2 value high for me to validate a long and the 2 day order block. So I would rather wait for a move back into this high, or ideally into previous month value high, but it's moved too much to me for me to be getting into fresh longs up here. Does that make sense? moving towards, and I don't, this one just popped up on my screener that, you know, it was outperforming the rest of the market. So it is relatively new. I don't know, was it trading on some other exchange before Bybit? What I do know is that this is a good formation here. If we're taking a look at this on the H4 chart, no, not H4, H12, considering the newness of this coin, we only basically have previous quarterly values to work with. So we have a previous quarterly value high there. We've got a previous quarterly VWAP, and we've got a previous quarterly value low. Now I will zoom in for you guys. Look at the interaction. Previous quarterly value low. Holy shit, right? What do we have at previous quarterly value low? An H12 down close candle. Buying, 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 buying. Auction higher, right? Where do we go? Previous quarterly value high. Like, damn, son. Very clean interaction, right? We're just playing ping pong between these two levels. So now what? Well, on the daily, we've got a daily down close candle before we accepted above a previous quarterly value high. If this thing is going to be ripping higher, I have absolutely no idea what it does. I don't know, and I don't really care. But what I do know is that purely based on structure, I need to see this daily order block around the previous quarterly value high hold of support, right? So if we're forming a range here, like that, spike it, reclaim previous quarterly value high, you're going to be going long, and you're going to be targeting, you know, let's see, why are we going to be targeting? Well, I think, you know, this high first, and after that, it's off to the fib extensions, right? Maybe this one, 0.14, right there. Coordinates 0. Let's just 138. I don't, you know, something along these lines. Fib 1.618. That's it. If it's going to be bullish, then we want to see that hold, right? And that basically concludes my market review of this Sunday. We've covered Bitcoin, Ethereum, a whole bunch of altcoins, right? Now, disclaimer, for the altcoins to thrive, right, we need to see either a range-bound Bitcoin, where money starts to slowly trickle down into these altcoins, right? Because people need to get that high. They're chasing the next best thing. We do not want to see Bitcoin puking towards the previous month VWAP, right? If we're getting that, make no mistake, your favorite altcoins will shit even lower. And it does add up. At that point, it doesn't really matter if we're drawing out a daily order block, because if Bitcoin is puking, what, 10% from the highs, then your altcoins will do 30, right? Make no mistake. For example, with the previous rejection, look at this. It is 40% down from the highs, right? And Bitcoin, when was this? November 13. November 13. Oh, Bitcoin is even up, right? So that was this initial high, 7%. Bitcoin went for new highs and WIF didn't even recover. So, you know, keep that in mind. Let me catch up on the chat. We got a couple of more minutes. Let me just take a sip of my water. And if you want to help me out, guys, do me a favor and leave me a like on today's stream. Hit that like button. Helps me out tremendously. Leave me a comment as well, because it helps me grow the channel. I don't use this. Somebody knows. Yeah, I mean, you know, everybody trades their own stuff, and I'm by no means going to be saying that, you know, you should be using this or whatsoever. It's working for me. And I just like to have a bit more of a layback approach, because I'm a father of two, don't have a whole lot of time, right? Besides doing what I already do within the market. So, you know, this just allows me to filter out some of the shit. All right, so yeah, what about Blob? Well, I genuinely like their art. I can't pronounce it. Oh my gosh, they're actually making a thumbnail for me as well. So once that's done, I'll be giving them a big shout out, because I'm a big fan of their work. I think it looks amazing. Litecoin. So let's go take a look at Litecoin. Like, let's just take some nice altcoins. Litecoin. Okay. So Litecoin, let's get some labels in. We've got previous week, previous month. Previous month and previous year value high. I think that's very important. Let me show you guys on this chart. Altcoins. And let's show Litecoin. So Litecoin is accepting a 2-year value. Oh my gosh. Let's take a look at this. So let's see if this works this far back. 2 years, like January 1, 22, up until 2024, of course. Oh my gosh, I'm so retarded. January 1, 2024. All right. Okay. So this is pretty significant here. So what we're basically doing right now is Litecoin, let's get rid of that. Litecoin is auctioning, is trying to accept above a 2-year composite. And that 2-year composite value high is around 98, right? Look at this. We swept the low. This is a buying opportunity. Accumulation, accumulation, accumulation. Auction towards opposite extreme. 2-day demand here. Let's see if we can fine tune that daily. I think it looks good. What are some upside destination we're trading above? I mean, where's this? 140. All right. 140. This is a yearly value low. Bear with me, guys. I have not prepared this chart. So we're doing this real time for you guys. 2-day chart, and I want to have this. As long as this 2-day block holds the support, you can go long, in my opinion, because we're auctioning above a 2-year composite. Huge level. Weekly. Range high, like that. Range low, like this. No, let's just fine tune that. I don't like that. Let's say that this is our range. Then we've got this here. Oh, this is not a weekly, that's 2 week. All right, like that. Gap here, 2-day. Yep, I think if Litecoin can auction above this 2-day, like really spend time and space between that retest here, then this is your buying opportunity towards, you know, potentially 140. But it needs to show us, right, that time and space between retests. Looks good, good find. What happens to the face reveal? You know, if I'm at 10K followers, I might just show my ass, bro. You know, you might just get to see these cheeks. But for now, I ain't going anywhere because I'm at fucking 3,500 followers and I'm not even pushing 1K views per video. So not gonna happen. ONDO. All right, let's do ONDO. But Litecoin looks good, man. Looks good. Perp. Think we did this. Not sure. But let's just do it live again. Okay, January. Acceptance above. Okay, do you guys see this? The interaction here, the developing yearly value high, confluent with a down close candle. These are the trades that you want to be taking. Like so super clean. Same story here. Down close candle at what? Previous quarterly value high. Buying, buying, buying. Off we go. What else do we have? We've got this. We're basically trading above all key time frames. The first one is at 1.14. 1.14. Okay. 1.14. Can probably do it a bit more precise, but this is old previous quarterly. Value low, right? No, value high. Value high. Lines up with this high. Lines up with, again, 2-day block. 2-day order block. And these altcoins, I mean, I personally don't really like to trade them on the hourly chart. I always look at the higher time frames because you want to be swinging this towards all-time high, right? Daily. So what I'm thinking, if it can give me a pullback into that old previous quarterly value high around 1.14, I'll be a buyer. And I'm going to be targeting these highs, that high. Let's have a labels on. Let's see. Previous quarterly value highs here. Previous quarter value high. Just so you guys can see the trades, right? Previous month value high here. Right there. All right, let's go over the tickers. So we've got the previous interaction at that previous quarterly value high was this down close candle. Then we had this close above. Any pullback into this level is a buying opportunity, but you're in validation below the low, right? If we're bullish, this cluster should hold. The trend is up. You know, these H12 blocks are your friend, right? Same story here. You know, we're not really closing above. So shit example. But in this case, we're trading above all key relevant time frames, which is an old previous quarterly value high, previous month value high, previous quarterly value high. So around these levels, we have now formed a 2-day block. So any setup back into this block is a buying opportunity. Higher time frame, you're wrong below this level, right? Wrong below 0.69, right? But you can fine tune your trades if you're, you know, let's say that it's forming a range here, range high, range low, and then it sweeps the low. And by doing so, it forms an H4 order block, right? At that point, similar to, let's go back, similar to, where was it? With, right here, H4. Every pullback, once we sweep a low and we form an H4 block there, every pullback can be seen as a buying opportunity, right? So that's how you can fine tune those trades. That's looking good. Yeah, I need to change some shit up. I agree with that. Do SG. Hey, Opium, hope you well, man. What's up, brother? Let's take a quick peek at AVAX. AVAX, USDT, perps. Already have it. Where is it? Right there, AVAX. Still within the range. AVAX. Struggling with the developing year value high for now. I would like to see a pullback. All right. All right, let me just clean up this chart real quick. Ticker. Let's get some lines on. Previous non-value high. And then right here, we've got the old boss. Developing year value high. Resistance, right? And then let's get rid of it. Do we have anything in between? Quarterly value high here. Let's just, you know, just to be aware of it. Developing quarter value high. All right. There's that. Let's quickly peek the weekly. We do have some significant upside. It's looking good. 2-day. Daily chart. 12-hour chart. And that's as low as I go. All right. H12 order block. Oops. H12 order block. All right. H4. Could even fine tune this towards the H4, right? But let's keep this as an H12. We can draw in the H4 as a line here. Let's do it like that. H4. Then we know for future reference. Style. I want this to have a thin line like that. So, bit struggling here with the developing year value high. H12. Not looking too hot. So what I would like to see, like 2 potential trades here if you want to be looking for longs. I need to see a clean close on the H12. Similar to what we saw on the other altcoins. clean close above the H12 within a couple of hours, then you can look for longs on a potential pullback, because that means that we're having a structural shift above the developing year value high. That will be good, right? And in terms of targets, well, what are we going to be targeting? Maybe this high first. Let's just keep this high first, around 50. Let's make it 50, a nice round figure. 50. And it's just a swing high like that. Let's just keep it like that. 12 hour. And if that doesn't work out, let's say that we do not really get this right away, then I'd be interested in looking for longs around the previous month value high. And I will personally, let's say that I'm going to be taking this myself. I'd be fine tuning my level towards this H4 order block within the H12 order block, and I'll be lining it up with this previous low. So what I would like to see for a trigger would be, let's say that we're not able to close an H12 above the previous H12 bearish order block right there. And instead we start auctioning lower. We form a bit of a range here. Sweep an old low into this order block right here. Then reclaim previous month value high. This is my long trigger. Confirmation that we're on the right side of the trade is acceptance above developing year value high. And my target is going to be swing high, right? And let's do sand. Is that clear, Grant, by the way? Does that cover your question? I want to make sure that I'm covering yours. Or if you need to take a look, if you need me to take a look at some other stuff as well. Which one are you referring to? It came into an order block to the left. This one, you mean? All right, cool, man. So let's take a look at sand, USDT, perps as a final one right there. And just my personal preference are within this list, but so sand, let's take a look at this. That's actually not looking too good because it tried to break above previous year value high there, right there. Failed to do so. Now we're retesting as resistance. So, we could be on the cards for a rollover towards previous year VWAP. And the quarterly is back within quarterly value. The monthly is auction. Whoops. Sorry, guys. The monthly is trading between these 2 points, right? These three. Previous month value high, previous month VWAP, previous month value low. So if I were to chart this real quick, let's get rid of this. Ticker. And previous month value high here. I think this is the most important. Previous year value high. Like that. And this is the previous month value high. Like that. Previous month VWAP, all right. And then we've got previous year VWAP. All right. 4 hour chart. H12, how's the H12 looking? 4 hour. Looking too shabby. So what I would prefer to see, what I wanted to see basically is, definitely not this, where we're finally trading above previous year value high, but it's just a slow bleed lower, and then we're not able to accept back above it. So if you're looking for longs, then I would the range that we're trading within right now is just between previous month VWAP, previous year value high, right? This is for shorts, this is for longs. If it can sweep the equal lows into previous month VWAP, then reclaim it when coming off H4 order block here, then that might be a long. However, keep in mind, if you're taking a long here, you're still being rejected at the previous year value high. So take profits here, and then if it can show you that, we're trading back above previous month value high, we're trading back above previous year value high, then that's going to be a way better trade. But for now, if you're, long, you basically want to see previous month VWAP hold a support with this H4 order block, because if it doesn't, we're going to be playing the rotation between previous year value high and that previous year VWAP, right? Compression leads to expansion. Yeah, sure. But right here, what is the most recent shift in condition? It finally broke above previous year value high. This should have been support. Instead, we accepted back below, right? And we're finding support at previous month VWAP, which is good in my opinion. However, if you're looking for longs up here, then I would say you're better off waiting for at least that break above previous year value area high, or a sweep back into the lows, right? For long. I wouldn't be comfortable looking for longs here. I'm going to be closing it today. This was the final one. I'll be doing render tomorrow morning again. Well, let's. Oh, no, no, no. Let's just do for you. Rutfik, we're doing it for you. Last one. Render USDT. After that, I'm calling it quits. Perps. 2-day. Right at resistance. Render. Where are we trading? Screw with that. Above, within, I think on a year, based on the yearly perspective, I think it wants to go towards 9.8. A retest back into this structure would be a good long. Is that confluent with previous month value high? Yes, it is. Is that confluent with? No, it is not. All right. Remove. Time for some lines on the chart. All right. Chill on the chart. Previous. Where are you? You piece of shit. Oh, it's here. I think previous month. Yep. Previous month value high. All right. And then yearly value high is there. Developing year value high. Like that. And then just for the sake of the visual, how clean previous quarter value highs are. Whew. So sexy. Right. Daily. Again. Right. Simplistic. Daily down close candle. Break above. Confluent with structure. Retest. Buy, buy, buy. Then we go up. Same story here. Right now, the trade is... Let's just... Otherwise, my OCD is going to be kicking my nuts. Right here. Let's get the range in. Range high. Then we've got... Let's just use this as our range low. Because it works better, right? More interactions. Resets price. Like that. So what we currently have is we've got render, and render is trading between what? The developing year value area high around 9.8 and the previous month value high around 7.7. Previous month value area high is confluent with a big ass daily cluster like that. So I would say, you know, considering the previous interaction at this level, like, do you guys see that? And especially here as well. If we're getting a pullback, that's the one that you want to be buying. You're wrong below this low, and we're going to be targeting a fair value gap at developing year value area high. That's the trade. That's what I would do. I fumbled all of my spot and perps positions, which were well positioned because I got scared over the video by Ran. Oh my gosh, bro. You're watching his videos? I'm gonna ban... Yo, mods, ban Lucifer. He's watching Ren. We can't have you watching Ren, my guy. But seriously, if that's the case, then, I mean, I'm sorry for you, man. He's been talking dog shit for quite some time on YouTube. Like, every fucking video that I see of him is like, it's so over, we're so back. And, you know, I'm like, bro, how do you even have, like, a following base this big when you're just talking nonsense? Insane. But I'm sorry for that, man. I really hope you're trolling. Je maakt grapje, 100%. Alright, anyways. I'm calling it quits today, guys. For those of you who are in the Discord, I'm going to be going live again tomorrow. Same time, 9 a.m. UTC. Right? Going over the plan of the day, covering everything. And for those of you who are not in the Discord, and for those of you who have enjoyed the stream, I would sincerely appreciate a like on today's stream. And, you know, just thank you for watching the content. I appreciate you guys having it with me. And I'll see you guys in the next one, alright? Graag gedaan, John. See you de volgende keer weer. Take care, guys. Peace.